It was a perfect summer day, the kind that made you feel grateful to be alive. Sarah decided to spend the afternoon at the beach, hoping the ocean's soothing waves would wash away the stress of the week. As she settled on her towel, she noticed a man playing with two children nearby. Their laughter was infectious, and she found herself smiling as she watched them. The man, tall and handsome, had a calm yet commanding presence. His two children, a boy and a girl, seemed to adore him. After a while, one of the kids' balls rolled over to Sarah. The little girl came running up, her curly hair bouncing with each step. "Hi, can I get our ball back?" she asked, her eyes bright with curiosity. "Sure thing," Sarah said, tossing it gently to her. "Thank you," the girl exclaimed, and ran back to her father. The man looked over and smiled warmly. "Sorry about that," he said, walking over. "They get pretty enthusiastic." "No problem at all," Sarah replied. "They're adorable." They introduced themselves. His name was Mark, and his children were Emma and Jack. They chatted for a bit, and Sarah felt an immediate connection with him and the kids. As the conversation flowed, she noticed a small tattoo on Mark's wrist, a simple, distinctive design. Her heart skipped a beat. It was the same tattoo she had seen 10 years ago. 10 years ago, when Sarah was 16, she had a near-death experience. She was swimming in the ocean when a strong current pulled her under. Panic set in, and she struggled to stay afloat. Just when she thought she would drown, a hand grabbed hers. She was dragged to safety, barely conscious. The last thing she remembered was a small tattoo on the wrist of her rescuer. Meeting Mark brought those memories flooding back. But she didn't say anything. How could she? It seemed too surreal. Instead, she let herself get lost in the present moment. They spent the rest of the afternoon together, playing with the kids and talking about everything under the sun. Days turned into weeks, and Sarah's bond with Mark and his children grew stronger. Emma and Jack were full of life, and Mark was a devoted father. She learned that their mother had died in a car accident a few years ago, a tragedy that had deeply affected them all. Sarah admired Mark's strength and his unwavering love for his children. As their relationship blossomed, Sarah couldn't help but fall in love with them. Mark was kind, patient, and understanding. The kids brought joy and laughter into her life. But the memory of that day 10 years ago lingered in the back of her mind. She knew she had to tell Mark the truth eventually. A year later, Mark proposed and Sarah said yes without hesitation. They had a small, intimate wedding on the beach where they first met. It was a beautiful ceremony, filled with love and happiness. As they exchanged vows, Sarah felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude for the second chance at life and love. Life as a family was wonderful. They created new traditions, celebrated milestones, and supported each other through challenges. Emma and Jack accepted Sarah wholeheartedly, and she cherished every moment with them. Yet, the secret of Mark being her rescuer weighed heavily on her. One evening, after they had tucked the kids into bed, Sarah decided it was time. They were sitting on the porch, the sound of the ocean in the background, when she took Mark's hand in hers. "There's something I need to tell you," she began, her voice trembling. "It's about how we met." Mark looked at her, his expression concerned. "What is it?" She took a deep breath and recounted the story of her near-drowning experience, how a stranger had saved her, and the tattoo she remembered. "It was you, Mark. You saved my life that day." Mark stared at Sarah in stunned silence, his eyes widening as he processed what she had just said. "You mean, that was you, the girl I pulled from the water all those years ago?" Sarah nodded, tears welling up in her eyes. "Yes, it was me. I recognized your tattoo the day we met on the beach. I didn't know how to tell you. I was afraid it would change things between us." Mark pulled her into his arms, holding her tightly. "I can't believe it," he murmured. "All this time, and I had no idea." "I'm sorry I didn't tell you sooner," Sarah said, her voice muffled against his chest. "I was scared." He gently lifted her chin, looking into her eyes with a tenderness that melted her heart. "You have nothing to apologize for. Fate brought us together again for a reason. I loved you before knowing this, and I love you even more now." In that moment, Sarah felt a profound sense of relief and joy. The weight of her secret was lifted, and their bond was stronger than ever. They spent the rest of the evening talking about that fateful day and how it had shaped their lives. As they sat on the porch, watching the waves roll in, Sarah realized that life had a way of bringing people together when they needed each other the most. Mark and his children were her family now, and she was grateful for every twist and turn that had led them to this point. Together they faced the future with open hearts, knowing that their love and resilience would carry them through whatever challenges lay ahead. And as Sarah looked at the tattoo on Mark's wrist, she couldn't help but smile, knowing that some connections were meant to last a lifetime.